Yeah, hi. Welcome to a Silly Girl Yaps, episode 4. Yeah. Today we're gonna be talking about something very different. We're gonna be talking about, something that is not Nintendo. Because, what's it called? All these episodes have been just about Nintendo series. Well, I want to talk about a series that's not Nintendo, and I feel like not a lot of love is ever poured into it, and I do think that it deserves a lot more love. It's one of the wacky games that has embraced my childhood, hopefully embraced some of yours, and I hope, I hope you like to hear about it, because I'm gonna go not too in depth, but I'm gonna go into like some random parts of the series. And yeah, so the series is Crazy Taxi. It's by Sega. The first game came out in 1999. I remember the little arcade that it used to have, and it used to be like an actual like driving thing. But what always interests me about this is the fact that it was like it wasn't like the other driving games. The other driving games were all racing. This one was so different because it was like you went into the taxi driver and you started to, you started to just deliver people, right? But it had such a crazy, wacky, arcadey feel. So, anyways, it's very gimmicky. I love gimmicky stuff. But yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Grab a snack, sit down, just, yeah. Alright, so, starting us off, I'm gonna talk about the very first Crazy Taxi. And when I talk about the very first Crazy Taxi, I'm also going to talk about the various ports that they made for this game. And I've played a lot of them. I've played it on GameCube, I've played it on PS3, I've played it on the original Dreamcast, I've played it on PSP, and I've, did I say arcade already? I think I did. Sorry. But yeah, in my opinion, the best way to play it will always be in the arcade. But when you don't have the arcade, I'll be so real, the mobile port was a close second for me, just because of how easy it was, and it had all the music, right? The only thing it didn't have was all the licensing stuff. So like when you take people who are asking for a taxi, you go out and you take them to certain destinations. Well, some of the destinations could be like KFC, and it's very very big advertising stuff going on. But yeah, and like just the game in general is very wacky. It's very in your face, very like just random stuff is going on all the time. You're on a constant time limit, and what's so funny is what's very cool about this is the fact how slow the whole world is going and how fast you're going. The developers that made this game addicting, so addicting. Like I think the overall gameplay is just phenomenal how they did it, and they made the controls so simple to the fact of where you switch gears. You're in drive, you go. You're in reverse, you reverse. And then you have a brake. And then you have your turn. But where the meat of this game, I think, really lies is the fact that you can do crazy combos, as they call them, I think, with these what's it called? You know, but yeah, you could do crazy combos, and one of them to go fast is like you go into reverse, and then you go straight into drive, and then you hit the gas right as you hit drive, and you get like a little boost. If you do that 2 times in a row, then you'll go like super fast. I don't know what it's called, but it's like, you know, you go faster. And little things like this I really like. I really like the fact that they're building upon the gameplay of having it be so simple, and have people, you know, that want to play simple, they can play simple, you know, and it's definitely not going to get rid of a lot of fun. It's just going to get rid of how long you necessarily will play it, because whenever you pick someone up, they have a little circle, you go up to the circle, and they come in, and they tell you, hey, I gotta go somewhere, and you're on a time limit. And you use these crazy combos to essentially just get to your place faster, right? You can play the game like a real-life taxi, but that's not really gonna work, you know? It's in the name, it's Crazy Taxi, and that's what I love about it, you know? It's beautiful for being an arcade game in 1999. And it's very silly, and I love the crazy, like, every time you pick someone up or drop someone off, I love the little, there's a little cutscene that plays where they come up and they go down, and I think it's really cool. It shows each character's little personality when they do that. Because if you pay attention sometimes, you know, some people will kind of like run up, other people will like kind of like stroll in, take their time, you know. You can tell how old they are, you know, what their mannerisms kind of are, and just it's cool to me, because I always used to think like these people have you know, like a little backstory, and I think it's really cool. It really populates the world that you're in. And but yeah, the first Crazy Taxi game is really good. If you're playing it in arcades, it only has one map. If you're playing it anywhere else, it basically has one map, but I guess if you count the Crazy Box stuff, which is just like little mini games, kind of like a House of the Dead did, where they have like little mini games to play. You have classic arcade mode, and then you have classic mode, but then, you know, you have that. I think that the classic mode is absolute dog bones. And the reason why I think that is because I'm sorry, but I think the classic mode is genuinely like, they just took the arcade version and they made it so much worse. Like they spaced out they made the map really spaced out. And in classic mode, it's basically like you're on a time limit. I mean, you can play arcade, you can play it like the arcade mode, but everything's so spaced out. Like all the characters are all spaced out that it doesn't feel alive. The city doesn't really feel like the city, you know what I mean, that you're in. But yeah, I mean, I'll be so real. This is a very straightforward game. But I mean, like, I like how it feels. It feels very wacky, and a lot of people, when you first play it, you're gonna be like, "What the heck am I playing?" And this feels terrible to play. You know, like, you're gonna think that, you know, the game is absolutely just terrible at feel, and I felt that too when I first played this a long time ago. I mean, I was a little kid when I played the arcade thing. But then once I realized, you know, this is Crazy Taxi. There's a reason why they named it Crazy Taxi. You just gotta go crazy. And when you start to learn that, you know, you start to feel the game, it becomes addicting. At least for me it does. And you know, I think it's really cool. The UI user interface that they have on this game is very pop-in. It's not too much. where there's like just enough stuff is happening on screen where it feels crazy, you know, no pun intended. It feels wacky, crazy, but at the same time, it feels like I know what's going on the screen. Like I could look at anything on Crazy Taxi and be like, oh, I know why that's there, you know? The customers, when you're driving around, they'll give you tips if, whenever you do something, like, kind of crazy, quote-unquote. Like, you go through cars, really... Like, if you go through a car and another car, and it's, like, is really cramped, but you went through and you didn't hit them, you get a crazy through, right? And that goes times 1, times 2. You know, you can get, like, a combo that way, and the more you do that, you know, without hitting anything, they'll give you a little bit more of a tip, you know, and it keeps going up, and I love it how it, like, pops up right behind them as they do it. But yeah, this game, I love these games that I talk about because they're so wacky and they're so themselves, you know what I mean? Every game that I've talked about has an art style, right? I believe. And I definitely believe that Crazy Taxi also has an art style. The art style for Crazy Taxi is very just... It's Jet Set Radio, but it's not really Jet Set Radio because it respects that Jet Set Radio is its own thing, right? But it's very colorful, and I like that for this game. I really do. You know, as you play this game, you start to find out just where, in general, the whole map is. And yeah, you could do stuff. You could, like, drift around. It's really cool. This is turning into more me explaining the game, sorry, rather than, like, just talking about it. Sorry, but yeah, Crazy Taxi 1, it's really good. They have, it's very arcadey, as I've said, it's very gimmicky, and in general, I think the first game was very good, and, you know, it kicked off the series to, really, it didn't really kick it off, actually. Most people look at Crazy Taxi 1 and think this is the definitive Crazy Taxi. And I agree. I definitely agree. I think that Crazy Taxi 1, in a lot of ways, spoilers, sorry, is better than Crazy Taxi 2. But yeah, so, yeah, you have different characters to choose from at the start. If you're really good, you'll know the button combinations to get the secret car that you can get. Well, it's not really a car, but anyways, yeah, you can put in, like, I forget the button combination, but you can put it in, and in the character select screen, and you could get a different taxi thing. And if I remember correctly, it looked like a big basket, and she was riding on a bike. So yeah, you can kind of sense too. You know, this is an arcade game after all. You can kind of sense when the game is trying to kick you off. You know, the times go significantly down. The game time significantly goes down, and it you know, you can't avoid it, but it's like the game progressively gets harder and harder, and I think that's really cool. But yeah, if you play it on Dreamcast, it's good. If you play it on PS3, it's, in my opinion, not as good. If you play it on PSP, it's not as good, and we'll get into that in a little bit. At least in my opinion. Everything I say is my opinion, sorry. But yeah, I think it's not as good on that. It's not as good on everything but really the original, and the GameCube version's pretty good. The what am I saying? GameCube version is actually kind of perfect, because I think they have the product placement in that one, yeah. But yeah, they have the product placement, I think, in that one. They have it in the original. Yeah, they don't have it in the mobile port, and honestly, that's fine. I'm fine with that. I know a lot of people, for some reason, love the product placement, and I do too. I respectfully do too. But I just don't think that completely creates the game. Now, it definitely adds to the game, but it doesn't like make or break it, if this makes sense. But what does kind of make or break it to me is the soundtrack. And what's very interesting about Crazy Taxi's soundtrack, the first one, is they have a bunch of Bad Religion, just like licensed music that's very rock, alt, and it's really cool. You know, I'm obviously into that stuff, and you know, it's very much 90s alt rock, and that's very of its time, and I think that it's a great addition. It has me jamming out while I'm driving. Another little thing that I really like is I really like in this game the announcer. He's very obnoxious, and I know an arcade game has to be obnoxious to get people's attention, you know, but you know, it's wacky. This whole game is very wacky, and I really respect it for being wacky. But yeah, I think that, what else? Yeah, Crazy Taxi 1 is just really good. The only thing that I would say that, is the reason why I don't like, some ports is because some ports don't have the music, like, entirely. They don't have the music licensing. So you're gonna hear just, like, random generic garbage. And, like, it's fine, but, like, if you're not playing the original, you know, it kind of hits me a little bit, and it kind of is like, oh, I remember it being like this. And I know you could say the same about the product placement, but I think the product placement wasn't really there, like, throughout the whole game. You know what I mean? Like, for me, what was there throughout the whole game was the music. And when I think about Crazy Taxi, I think about, yeah, you know, like, I think about, 10 and 20, 10 and 20, 10, you know, it's, I think about, you know, those really obnoxious, I shouldn't be saying that, it's not obnoxious, it's really good, just, obnoxiously good, obnoxiously good, music, you know, and, it really helps with the vibe. So anyways, getting off of that, I will say that just Crazy Taxi 1 in general, is very good, and I think, it deserves a lot more love, definitely, but, you know, it is the Crazy Taxi game that people think of when you ask, you know, Crazy Taxi, somebody asks you about Crazy Taxi, you're gonna be thinking about Crazy Taxi 1, probably, if you are even thinking about Crazy Taxi. Another thing I want to really quickly add before I continue, in Crazy Taxi 1, you'll just have, like, ramps around, you'll have, I know this is pretty much present throughout the whole series, but, like, you'll have people, like, underwater, that you have to, go and pick up, which is actually, like, it's just insane. And if you know where to look, on the maps, you'll know how to play, you'll definitely know how to play this game. So yeah. Moving on to Crazy Taxi 2, because I'll be so honest, I just had so much to say about Crazy Taxi 1. We're probably gonna go through Crazy Taxi 2 so much more faster. Crazy Taxi 2. For presentation, I think it looks good. I think the presentation looks really, really good. I think that, just in general, it's saying, we're another Crazy Taxi game, that's cool. The big thing they introduced in this game is the new map. They don't have the old map, I don't think. Yeah, I didn't play this one as much. I played it on the Dreamcast, and that was it. From what I remember, this game was very, I'll be so honest, it looked exactly the same as Crazy Taxi 1, and that's all it needed, honestly, that's all it needed. But, I'll be honest, this is the issue. If I don't, I love a game, but if I don't remember it for specific reasons, then I'm, blanking out, and I'm thinking, oh, shoot, why don't I remember it, And then, I feel like, obviously, these games, every game has been poured love into it, and I love every game, like I've stated before, but definitely, I do think that, in a sense, Crazy Taxi 2 was a little rushed. I get that feel when I look at it, because when I look at Crazy Taxi 2, it just reminds me of, Crazy Taxi 1, but what I will say is, I like the characters. I always love the characters in Crazy Taxi 1 and 2. I definitely don't think that, there's a clear difference between, Crazy Taxi 1 characters and Crazy Taxi 2, and then on to 3, and then so on and so forth. I just think that, it's, I don't know. I think it's always looking good. The map, though, is the big thing about this one, where it's, like a New York City looking, they call it, something apple, round apple or something, and, they try to make it seem like it's, oh my god, it's the big city, and, in a sense, I think that's good, it is the city, it's nice. I think that, definitely, one thing I will say very good about Crazy Taxi 2 is the UI, the user interface, it was better in, let me rephrase that. It was good in Crazy Taxi 1, like I said. It was beautiful in Crazy Taxi 1. Everything that I needed to see was on the screen. Crazy Taxi 2 made it so much better. I don't know how the heck they made it so much better, but when you get something added to your money, or whatever, it has a nice little slide animation on the top, and you get to see your money actually growing, and it looks cool. It looks like a little ATM thing, and I'm a sucker for something that tries to, be creative like that, and it's very gimmicky. I like it because it's like, it's very, silly and cute. I love that. I love that to death. I just think, Crazy Taxi 2 just blends in a little too much with Crazy Taxi 1. Just in terms of, I don't know how to say it. Vibes, maybe? Maybe? Another thing that they do have in Crazy Taxi 2 is they have, like, groups of people get in your car now. Or taxi, sorry. Groups of people getting into your taxi, and they're like, oh, I want to go blank, and oh, I want to go to blank, and so you have, like, a big rush of places you gotta go now. And, your tips are times by how many people are in the car, and I think this is a great addition. I'll be honest. It's a great addition. But take everything that I said about Crazy Taxi 2 now, everything that's different from Crazy Taxi 1, and think to yourself, is that, like, worthy of a whole new game? Is it? And a part of me says yes. A part of me is like, does it? I get scared to say not really. But, I mean, it's a great game nonetheless, and you could tell a lot of love has been put into it, and I think that's what matters. What matters is there was love put into this game, and whatever, I guess. It's not my go-to Crazy Taxi game, I'll be honest. If I want to play Crazy Taxi, it's not my go-to one. My go-to used to be the mobile port on for Crazy Taxi 1. Solely because I'd just be walking around and, like, I have my phone on me, and it's like, what's a fast game that I'll play? Nah, Crazy Taxi, and, so yeah. It's a good play, though. You'll literally see everything in this game, in both Crazy Taxi games, in, like, the first 30 minutes. Not to say it's a bad game. It's addicting. It's the same as Crazy Taxi 1. But, if you're gonna pick 2 or 1, I'd say choose 1. Okay? Because 1 is very grounded and it knows what it's doing. And it experiments with what it's doing perfectly. Okay? So, yeah. Now, before I get into Crazy Taxi 3, I do want to mention that Crazy Taxi had some weird Game Boy game that I played. Yeah, Crazy Taxi on the Game Boy. That's about as good as as it sounds, if this makes sense. Crazy Taxi on the Game Boy. God bless. It's ambitious. I'll give it that. It's very ambitious, and it looks beautiful. For a Game Boy, it looks beautiful. I have no idea whose right mind it was to be, let's put it on the Game Boy. Let's not make it for, like, the 3DS or at least DS. Because it was the Game Boy Advance. I'm pretty sure the DS was around. Scold me if I'm wrong. Scold me if I'm wrong. But, yeah. Like, I think, they definitely overjumped the shark when they were making Crazy Taxi for the Game Boy. And you look at Crazy Taxi for the Game Boy, and it looks very rough. It's very rigid, rough, and you can barely tell what's going on screen, I'll be honest. And, like, if they were gonna even attempt to make a Crazy Taxi on the Game Boy, I feel like they should have made one with the Game Boy in mind, if this makes sense. I know that's what it was, but it overjumped the shark. It tried to be 3D, make it 2D, honestly. Keep it pixelated, enhance that pixelation. I think when developers take their limitations and expand upon that limitation, if this makes sense, you get a beautiful game. And I'm not saying Crazy Taxi for the Game Boy isn't like bad. It isn't bad. It's just very unpolished and very gross for me to play, I'll be honest. And I know video games are supposed to be, to travel you to a different world, and I love it, but it's just, I know there was soul and heart put into it, but it's just, come on, Crazy Taxi on the Game Boy, like, I feel like there should have been someone in the room to say, hey guys, let's be a little bit more realistic, But, yeah. Not saying it's bad. I just think it's very rough. Yeah. Before I get to Crazy Taxi 3, I also want to acknowledge that they had a weird mobile game at one point. Weird Crazy Taxi mobile game that was like Subway Surfers. And I don't know if this was made by Sega whatever studio that they were making, but what the heck? Like, seriously, I know that Subway Surfers is good, okay? And Subway Surfers is, God bless, if I ever make a podcast episode on Subway Surfers retrospective, like, it's I'll talk about it there, but right now I just want to state something, clear something out for a lot of these franchises that I'm going to talk about in future podcast episodes. They copy when they find out, like, oh, how do we get into the mobile gaming space? A lot of these things just end up copying something else. And not even with their own flair. If it was with your own flair, I would understand and I would respect it a lot more. You're trying to do something different. You're already going to the mobile space. I understand. But with Crazy Taxi on mobile devices, they tried to make it like Subway Surfers. And Subway Surfers, like I said, is a good game, but it's a good game for them. Subway Surfers, I think of them. If I want to play Subway Surfers, I'm just going to go play Subway Surfers. I want a Crazy Taxi experience. I want something tailored for my mobile phone, which is Crazy Taxi. That's why whenever I go for my phone, I always go for Crazy Taxi 1 mobile, because it's very just much the arcade game, but just on your mobile device. It keeps the same old songs, but it doesn't keep all of the advertisements, like I said. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, a lot. I understand a lot goes into games, and I love them all. I really do. I love the crappiest games ever. But something about specific mobile games, especially like a clone of something else, a Subway Surfers clone. It's like Blank Run, like Minion Run or Minion Rush, whatever that is. And I understand a lot of people like Minion Run or Minion Rush. I just, I don't know. I really don't know. I think that, it's just, if I want to play Subway Surfers, I'm gonna play Subway Surfers. Okay. The meat the meat, I love this part. Everybody hates on Crazy Taxi 3. I don't know why a lot of people hate on Crazy Taxi 3. I'ma say this right now. Crazy Taxi 3 is the best. The best. Crazy Taxi 3 is the best that the series has ever seen and ever will see. And it's the last, like the actual last mainline game that it got. And I hate the fact that it was just on Xbox and just on PC. That's all you can play Crazy Taxi 3 on. And then it also had an arcade port. You know, it's been forever since I've seen a Crazy Taxi 3 arcade, you know? But before I say anything, let me just tell you, Crazy Taxi 3 has the first game's map, okay? Which is like, okay, we already have the original game in it, okay? It has the second game map, but it actually makes it like a little bit better. It improves on it, and it has an original map, which is, I'll be honest, it's not as good as the rest, but you know, there's a third map. There's a whole big like map in this game, you know? And that's 3 gigantic worlds, you know, for Crazy Taxi 3. That's insane. So yeah, Crazy Taxi 3. It has the little side thing called High Roller. Yeah. So it's great. When I look at it, when I first played it, I played it on the original Xbox thingy-mabobber, right? And you know, it updates all of the old models. It updates it just slightly, so like it still has that Crazy Taxi look. But when you're playing it, you're like, oh, this is like Crazy Taxi how I remembered it. You know, this is like Crazy Taxi Deluxe a little bit, you know what I mean? And they somehow, some way, they updated the UI to make it look even better than the second one. Okay, they took what they did right with the second one and they made it even better. Okay, and so yeah, Crazy Taxi 3, you have like even more crazy combos you could do. You can jump now, for crying out loud. You can drift easily, much more easily. I like when you drift, you have that little, you know, when you do something crazy, quote unquote, you have like a little bit carbon ignition coming out of your taxi. I like how when you're driving around, sometimes you'll see your tires burn out a little bit. It's very cool. You look around in Crazy Taxi 3, in my opinion, I think the worlds are remastered. They make them look much more livelier. And it has everything from Crazy Taxi 2 and Crazy Taxi 1 also, which is really cool. They bring back groups of people from Crazy Taxi 2. They have the licensing. It's all here. They have Bad Religion. They have all the songs that you've known. I have, like... But the reason why people hate this a little bit is because they just solely don't like Crazy Taxi 2. And the fact that they brought Crazy Taxi 2 stuff into Crazy Taxi 1 stuff, I think what they're thinking is the game meshes them both. And it does. It does in a way. It meshes them both. But in my opinion, this is like what Crazy Taxi 2 should have been, if this makes sense. Because it just takes Crazy Taxi 2 and it now expands upon Crazy Taxi 2. But instead of expanding just on Crazy Taxi 2, it expands on Crazy Taxi 1 also. And it makes, you know, they put like planes out in the sky now. and you get to see them. But the gameplay it's the same as it always has been. But just in Crazy Taxi 3, I think it feels just a little bit more better, because you're seeing all of these. It's just upscaled. It's remastered a little bit, you know. You have even more of those little crazy character interactions that you have with some of these characters. You know, you have just all these different types of non-playable characters, and it's really cool. They all have their little personalities. Like, if you'll run into something, they'll be like, "Hey, watch it," you know, and your character will even be like, "Cool it, guy," or something like that. And it's really nice. It's really cute. I love it when they put just gimmicky stuff, just to put gimmicky stuff in there, to be like, "Oh, this is a little bit of spice," you know. But I live for that spice. You know me. I live for that. I'm getting a little over the top with this, sorry, but yeah, Crazy Taxi 3 is genuinely a really, really good game, and I know if it gets ported ever, like somehow, some way it gets ported, you know, they port it on Nintendo Switch 2 or something, which could happen because, you know, they're making that new Crazy Taxi game. By the way, that new Crazy Taxi game looks beautiful. A new Crazy Taxi game, I think it's gonna do I don't think it's gonna do good. That would be so real. But it looks good. And I pray that that Crazy Taxi, the new one that's coming out, does good. I'm gonna buy that day one. I'm gonna, you know, because it looks good. It looks really good. And it looks like it's just expanding upon Crazy Taxi 3, I'll be honest. And it's doing its own stuff in that. But anyways, before I, you know, even touch that, you know, the stuff that they do in Crazy Taxi 3, they make it like, they make you remember Crazy Taxi 3, at least for me. Because the way I remember Crazy Taxi 3, it's very, like, it just leans more into that punk, you know, that punk rock feel that Crazy Taxi 1 established, if this makes sense. And, you know, Crazy Taxi 3, it's really beautiful to look at, in my opinion. And the Crazy Taxi 2, map, they remaster that one too. And instead of it being in the daytime, they have it take place at night, which looks absolutely gorgeous. I'll be so honest, like, Crazy Taxi, like, they need to do more night levels, or night maps, I should say, because they look beautiful. You can turn on and off your headlights. That's a lot of, like, I wasn't expecting you were able to turn on or off your headlights. That is what I live for. I live for that. I think it's beautiful. You know, in Crazy Taxi 3, you'll see just random stuff happening in the background, okay, that makes this every single map and every single world just feel more alive, you know? You'll see someone in a blimp, you know, way out in the distance. You'll see, like, a flock of birds, you know, flying. You know, you'll just see little things that I really appreciate in this, that makes it really feel like I'm playing Crazy Taxi 3. I'm playing Crazy Taxi, the definitive edition, you know? But yeah, I just, it's really good. The new map that they have, I'll be honest, it looks good. It's more Grand Canyon-ish. They try to go for, like, a Las Vegas kind of look, Los Angeles, I don't know. Yeah, they make it look California-esque, and I do think respectfully it looks good, and it looks good for the vibe that they're going for, and I love it. I think it looks good. It's just I understand where some people are coming from when they say because of that, because it's in a desert, it looks plain. Where, in my opinion, it's like, it's supposed to look like that, though. But I understand where you're coming from, and that's why I think it's like, it's good, but, you know, I don't know. The more I talk about it, the more I like the third map, and I think the third map is good. I was very, very interested, or intrigued, I should say, when I found out, you know, you're playing in that new map, and sometimes in that new map, you'll get frame drops just out of nowhere. The game already runs at 30 frames per second. I have no idea why a Crazy Taxi game should have frame drops. It should not have frame drops. Like, I understand a lot of things are happening on screen, but, like, they don't really, like, have a lot of polygons on screen, I would think. Especially because it's in a desert. But it's only when you hit that Los Angeles area where it's like a strip mall and you have all these people walking around. And in a sense, I can understand why it could, you know, frame drop. But in my opinion, I don't think a game should frame drop like that. It shouldn't. It just really shouldn't. They bring new characters into Crazy Taxi 3. All of the characters are awesome looking. They keep that Crazy Taxi feel. You know, just in general, I think Crazy Taxi is just such a fun game to play, and it's a time waster, honestly. And whenever I find myself bored, I'll be like, yeah, I'll play a round of Crazy Taxi. But yeah, looking into the future of Crazy Taxi, I do think that, like I've said before, I'm hyped for the new game. I was scared at first a little bit for how they were gonna do it, and then when the trailer dropped and how it looks, you know, and they start off the trailer with that yeah, you know, you know the Bad Religion's in it, you know, the music that you've remembered it for is still in it, and I don't think that there's gonna be like licensed product placement in this new one. A lot of people are complaining on the internet, I've seen, about that. It doesn't really, you know, it doesn't really bother me. What does bother me about this, though, sadly, is they have stated an AI statement where they said that AI wasn't used or isn't going to be used in the final version of the game. Right? That's fine. I'm happy that they're saying that AI is not going to be used in the final version of the game. Why are you stating the final version of the game, though? I'm not going to get political here, but obviously, the facts are there. AI, like, in general, is hurting the world right now. There's no good for AI, in my opinion, that I really see. AI is a tool that should not be used, that can be abused. But it does scare me to think that in development, they're using generative AI, which probably is the case. And I don't want to support that, but I do want to support creativity. I do want to support the series. I think, the AI could never make Crazy Taxi if there was no Crazy Taxi before it. This solely comes from a mind of imagination, a mind of someone in a taxi cab and just thinking, what if this taxi cab went crazy? But yeah, regardless, I'm excited for it because in the final game that I'm gonna see, there's gonna be no generative AI, I'm pretty sure. And if they break that promise, I'm not gonna buy the game. I'm gonna hear what other people have to say about it. I'm gonna watch videos of how it looks like, and then I'll go off it from there. So, yeah. So yeah, that's Crazy Taxi. There's not really much else to say other than, like, it's a really gimmicky game. It's fun. And I love it. I really love it. I think that the game deserves a lot more love, and I hope that me doing this podcast episode on it kind of gives it a little bit more clout, because I definitely think a series like this, House of the Dead, Jet Set Radio, definitely need more clout. So yeah, I think all those Sega games, I think, even Ape Escape, name it, Psychonauts, right? I think these are, I hope I'm saying that right, these are all great games that I'm eventually going to cover on the podcast. But yeah, today I hope you enjoyed, me talking about this. So yeah, yeah. I don't know what I'm gonna do for the next episode. Not yet. I do have a bunch of, like, ideas of what I want to do for the next one, but I'm gonna definitely script some of them, like have like points of what I want to cover, because I think some games are just too good for me to wing it, And I'm not saying I winged this one. I didn't. I had a script where I was like, okay, I want to touch up on this. I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this. And that's just because there's a lot to talk about. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed. Sorry. And yeah, I love Crazy Taxi. And I think the new game is hopefully going to be amazing. It's going to be better than Crazy Taxi 3. And if you haven't, somehow, some way, play Crazy Taxi. Play one of them, It's really good. It's really underrated. And yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your day. And stay safe. All right? Bye-bye. Love y'all.